Hey, Miss Sarah. How's it going? Is everything going okay? Did you have a good weekend? You ready for tomorrow? Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's get this party rolling. And it begins. Jerry Payne is in the house. What? Edit post. Okay, here we go. How's everybody doing? Are y'all ready for this? I want to buy you. Dance of unexpected love. Everybody ready for Turkey Day? I know Jerry is. He's having hot dogs. And I talked about that earlier. I invited him over for lunch or to eat with us, but you know, hey. He wants to feed his grown kids hot dogs. That's his prerogative in life. Not mine. The author is in the house. Hello, Nathan. You and Jerry can feed off each other, Nathan. Jerry meet Nathan. Nathan meet Jerry. Jerry's from Georgia. Nathan's from Mississippi. So you guys ought to get along just fine. Just fine. Booyah. There's little mama. I was wondering where you was at, Mamacita. I didn't see you get on there. You slipped in on me. Oh, yeah. Well, how many people are going somewhere tomorrow? I ain't leaving the house. I'll do a breakfast casserole in the morning, hopefully. Then I will do, we're doing a ham and some baked beans, maybe some yams, some pigs in a blanket, probably some green beans for him. Who knows, maybe some mashed potatoes if he's got any left. Not much, that's about it. Ooh, it's cool in here tonight. Felt pretty good last night. I still have my earrings in? Yeah, I got them. I took my necklace off. It was kind of annoying. I know. Everybody go to Nina's house. She's cooking a lot of food. Everybody's ready to eat. Let's go eat. I didn't eat supper. I had a late lunch, so I'm real hungry. Alrighty. Are we about ready to get started with this? Because it might be another long one like it was last night. I'm just saying. Nathan and I were having a hard time trying to figure out exactly what I was going to read. There's so many good, this book is so good. It's the only book he has that's on audio. And that's how I managed to get through it a couple months ago. And It's another one of those that gets you in the feels, and which is really funny because if you ever talk to Nathan, he's kind of like, how would I describe Nathan? He's a Southern boy from Mississippi. He's a truck driver. And he kind of talks like Larry the Cable Guy sometimes. Get her done. So, I mean, he's just a good old country boy redneck. So, as I'm reading this, and if you buy it and read it, then just trying to fight that. Then you're going to be scratching your head going, what? Yeah, who knew? Who knew? I'm just really impressed, Nathan. I'm just really impressed. Because I'm married to a good old country boy, redneck. Living with another one now. Got a brother that's one. Got a really good friend in Mr. Payne in one. But he's not too country though. Well, he can't be, but he ain't real country. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do, if I'm going to draw tomorrow, I'm going to give it 24 hours, or maybe Friday before I do it. I'm going to go through and draw a, Lord, I get cold. When I get cold, y'all, I yawn. I am not sleepy. I am just cold, and I apologize. Should put some socks on. But yeah, for all the people that comment on this, if you so desire, Nathan's going to give away a free ebook of the book. So if you comment and give when I draw either tomorrow night or Friday, whew, gracious, stop it, tomorrow night or Friday, because I'm still going to do my other drawing too. Then I'll announce the winner and I'll get with Nathan and he can send you a free ebook. So, yay! Alrighty. So, the book is called, let's see if I can do this and get back to where I want to get. Okay. Come on. The book is called Dance of Unexpected Love. Yeah, it's not let me do it, but I do have a copy of I do have a picture. This is the picture. So you guys can see. Or can you? There we go. If you need to, just scroll through them. Why is there a green line there? If you need to, just scroll through the feed out in the group, and you can find the picture. And I'm going to be kind of cutting this up because, dang it, this is going to get annoying now. I'm going to kind of cut this up because I'm picking and choosing some places that I liked in it that I'm going to read to you guys. So, hey Zane, Zane, I'm going to get with Gloria and let her know when to expect. Or I can get with you, I don't care. Get with, give you the date. Or, Nina, if you could put up the date on that you put Zane on for in April, I'm going to read his book. I just happened to see him sign on. So, Dance of Unexpected Love by Nathan Colston. Shadows of Legends. Stanley Thomas woke up in the motel room to the radio alarm clock playing Tony Orlando's Candide. I always have a hard time with that one. As he sat up on the side of the bed, he held back the tears. Remembering the last time he had heard it, it brought back a flood of memories. For a moment, he was 16 years old again with his dance partner, Gloria Parker. They were attending a dance contest only a day after the tragic death of their two close friends, who were also dancers. Antonio and Juanita were going to be the adult champions of the world. Sabrina, renowned ballroom dancer and long-time coach to Stanley and Gloria, came with the four dancers to see them receive their accolades. Even Antonio and Juanita's 5-year-old daughter, Katerina, was expected to see her parents receive the honor. But it was not meant to be. All right, hold that thought. I gotta get something for my feet. See if I can combat this cold. Whew. Otherwise, I'm gonna be yawning all the way through this, y'all. And that's just not cool. Okay. Okay. Hello, Miss Lucy. Okay. Stanley and Gloria walked out onto the dance floor and withdrew from the juniors. When Antonio's and Juanita's names were called out to join with the other dancers, Sabrina walked out holding a chair. Stanley and Gloria led Katerina to the dance floor. The judges and dancers looked at them as Sabrina asked one of the dancers to get a microphone so she could address the judges. After they brought her a microphone, she stood. With a trembling voice, she spoke. I come to this panel to ask a grave favor. Antonio and Juanita died today. She glanced over at their young daughter, who still did not know. Then she turned back to the judges. It was self-inflicted. I begged the dancers and the judges to allow Stanley Thomas and Gloria Parker to finish for them. Allow them to dance in the semifinal. I call for the right. Oh, I see what you did, Nathan. All right, let me start that over. Stanley and Gloria walked out onto the dance floor and withdrew from the juniors. When Antonio's and Juanita's names were called out to join with the other dancers, Sabrina walked out holding a chair. Stanley and Gloria led Katerina to the dance floor. The judges and dancers looked at them as Sabrina asked one of the dancers to get a microphone so she could address the judges. After they brought her a microphone, she stood. With a trembling voice, she spoke. I come to the panel to ask a grave favor. Antonio and Juanita died today. She glanced over at their young daughter, who still did not know. Then she turned back to the judges. It was self-inflicted. I begged the dancers and the judges to allow Stanley Thomas and Gloria Parker to finish for them. Allow them to dance in the semifinal. I called for the right of the last dance for the final, if they should make it that far. Please show me that this crowd can honor greatness among its great dancers. After speaking as a group, one judge turned to Sabrina. We have no objection if the dancers have no objection, but know this: we will not be partial to the situation at hand. However, in the memory of your late husband and the ones you make this request for, we will allow it as a tribute to you, Lady Sabrina. She nodded. All I ask is that you not be blind. That is the only favor I wish for. She walked off the stage and Stanley placed Katerina in the chair. Stay here, my little candidate. The music started, and Gloria and Stanley took each other's hand and started dancing. They made it to the final round, and as they walked out on the floor with the other couples, Sabrina sat down. Katerina clapped as the song Candida. Why do I always mess that word up? started playing. Stanley stood still as Gloria walked around him. On her way back, she spun and fell, and as she tumbled backwards, Stanley knelt, leaned back, and caught her. He held her for a moment. Then he shoved her up, and she spun. When she was facing him, his hand went into hers. They moved with such graceful elegance to the dance only his father and mother could do. It was called Catch a Falling Love. The other couple stopped dancing. As Gloria and Stanley danced, many of the other dancers in the contest walked out on the floor to get a closer look. Sabrina walked out on the stage as well. As they moved, she had tears in her eyes. She thought how Stanley looked so much like his father, how Gloria moved with such grace, and every move was perfect. Sabrina thought her student danced even better than she could have done if she still competed. When the song finished, Gloria and Stanley knelt down. As they knelt, so did all the other dancers. Stanley and Gloria gave the money they won to her family. Later, when they got to California to take Katerina to live with her only known living relative, Katerina held out her hands and screamed to stay with Stanley and Gloria. Gloria leaned into Stanley and said, "My baby, my baby." Antonio's sister said it was too hard on her to have contact with them, so she stopped letting her talk to them and she moved. A year later, when Stanley was 17, he went out with a girl named Karen. They got drunk and had sex, and she told him a month later that she was pregnant. He and Gloria won the championship that year, but Sabrina knew Stanley's heart wasn't in dancing, and neither was Gloria's. So she changed his last name to Ferguson, his grandmother's maiden name. Stanley got married to Karen and quit dancing. His mother moved back to Lake Charles, Louisiana, where most of her family lived. Then she announced that Gloria and Stanley were killed in a car wreck, so they wouldn't be pressured by fans and other dancers. He shut the alarm clock off and walked to the mirror. That seemed like a lifetime ago. He looked in the mirror. He was slightly overweight, wore glasses, and had a slight mustache. His hair was turning gray. His oldest child had turned 16, and his daughter would turn 15 in October. Today was his 33rd birthday. He had sold his house in Lake Charles, Louisiana, because Karen had gotten remarried again. Her husband was a wealthy man working his way up a corporate ladder. He had taken a promotion, and they were moving to Memphis, Tennessee. He laughed at this being her fourth marriage. Stanley put his notice at Road Ready because he didn't want to be that far from his children, and found some land in Mississippi in a small town called General. It had a travel center with a lounge, a restaurant, and a small grocery store, and a small bank along with a post office and a large church. It was 2 miles from his new 20-acre property that connected to a large lake. He didn't want to build a house on the land, so he bought a mobile home with 5 bedrooms and a large porch and placed it near the back of the property. He had a 3-car garage built onto the mobile home and would park his motorcycle, small camper trailer, and his truck in it. He had 2 boats, a pontoon and a small bass boat. He loved to fish. He built a pier out onto the lake and a boathouse to leave his boats in the water. He used the equity he got out of the house in Louisiana to have a barn and a beach area along with the pier and boathouse built. He walked out the hotel room to head to his new home that he had not seen. The movers were given instructions on how to set up the office. Since most of his duties could be done from home, he was able to keep his job and go to Lake Charles only when needed. Chapter 1. Stanley walked out of the hotel room and went down to the lobby. As he got some coffee and checked out, he thought, "From the day Gloria and I woke up in the hospital shortly after we bonded, our lives have felt in many ways like a dream. I guess that was why we prayed to the God of the dreams to make it all just a dream. I wish you were here, my friends. Then Stanley checked the straps on the motorcycle to make sure everything was fine before getting in the truck and driving to his new home. Okay, let me add a little thing here. I did not read the prologue, or not all of it. I read a little bit of it. There is a bond that is, it's a curse bond. Nathan, you're probably going to explain this better than I do, because I told you I wasn't totally clear on it even when I was listening to it. Which he says it comes out better in the rest of in the other books. There is a bond that's a curse that happens to two dancers, and these two dancers become the best dancers, just like Stanley and Gloria. But if they become partners in life, like husband and wife, then it becomes a curse. So that's what he means by when they become bonded. So you have to bond, and then if you become partners in life, then it becomes a curse or something. Read the book, it explains it. I just have a hard time with it, but it makes more sense as you read the other books. So don't get totally confused by it. That's just a little background. As he turned onto the road to his house, he saw a car parked on the shoulder of the road and a young girl walking just past the car. He pulled over and got out. You having car trouble? Do you have someone coming to help? He asked. The young girl said, I have a flat and my cell phone is dead. I live just down the road about 4 miles. The young girl had a pretty face. Her pants were slightly loose and her shirt the same way. She had sandy brown hair and a beautiful blue eyes. Yeah, what Nathan said. The young girl had a pretty face. Her pants were slightly loose and her shirt the same way. She had sandy brown hair and a beautiful blue eyes. I'll help you. She opened the trunk and Stanley pulled out the spare. He got the jack and lug wrench. He showed her how to place the jack under the frame of the car and pumped it up so the jack would have pressure on it. Now you jack it the rest of the way up, he said with a smile. She did as he said. He instructed her to stop. But the tire isn't off the ground, she said. He loosened all the lug nuts except one and handed her the lug wrench. You loosen that one, he said. It took her a moment, and then he told her how to do it. She did as he said, until it was loosened. In other words, jump on the lug wrench, because that's the only way I can get them to loosen. Once I pop them loose, I'm fine. Now jack the car until I say stop. After he told her to stop, Stanley pulled the lug nuts the rest of the way off. Then he removed the tire completely. He rolled the spare and showed her how to line up the holes with bolts. Then he moved the tire around. Now you do it. It took her a moment, but she got it lined up and the tire on. Always cross the bolts like so. Then he placed one on the top across from it on the bottom. She watched him with a desire to learn. When he got all of them on, he gave her the lug wrench and told her how to tighten them. Always remember righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Once they were all on, as tight as she could get them, he tightened them up the rest of the way. She lowered the jack. Now, if this ever happens again, you know how to do it, he said. But once you get the tire on, go to the closest shop and have them tighten the lug nuts down. Thank you, she said gratefully. The pretty young girl got into her car and drove away. Stanley continued on his way to the house. Stanley walked around inspecting the place to make sure the mover set everything up like he wanted. After walking through the house, he went to the barn to check everything and then to the boathouse. Then he went to the house and moved some things around. After all of that, he was tired and decided to take a shower and shave. Stanley stood looking into the mirror. 33 years old today, he thought to himself. Life sure didn't turn out the way others thought it would. Many said I would have a muscular build. They also said I would be famous. Now it is doubtful that anyone remembers who I am. His thoughts turned toward memories of Antonio and Juanita. I miss you, my friends. I tried to teach little Candide
but your sister wouldn't let me. I wonder if you and my father would be disappointed in me. I wish that song hadn't woken me up today. I cannot get you out of my mind." He got dressed and went down to Rosie's Travel Center. He walked past the restaurant, past the party room, taking notice of a sign reading, "Happy 15th birthday, Brittany Nicole Farley." He smiled as he stepped into the bar. He said to himself, "I'll have a beer for you, kiddo." He sat down at the bar and ordered a beer and something to eat. As he waited, he looked into the party room. People were coming in and setting up. There was a large cake and a waitress was setting menus out. Later, the place was flooded with people. He saw a girl being led in wearing a blindfold. She was about 5'7", 140 pounds, long hair with some waves to it. You know, that's about the size I was when I got married at 18. Yeah, once upon a time I used to be that small. Let's see. She had a fair complexion with a tan. She was lovely. He smiled as it came to him that she was the young lady he helped change the tire. He thought she seemed like a nice young lady. A DJ was setting up the party. Stanley was halfway through his meal when the young girl walked up to him. "Pardon me," she said. He looked at her. "Yes?" "I want to thank you again for helping me with the tire. Also, I came to ask a favor." "You're welcome. And how can I help you?" "Today is my birthday." Congratulations and happy birthday. We have something in common. Today is my birthday as well." She smiled. "Happy birthday to you also. We have a tradition in my family, boys and girls alike. On our birthday, we must take a birthday spanking with one hit per year, plus a pinch to grow an inch and an extra hit called hop to grow a lot. The only way to escape the birthday spanking is to dance with a stranger." He shifted in his seat. "I haven't danced in a long time, and I don't know any modern dances. And I'm not a good dancer either. But the worst that will happen is they point and laugh, and I escape 16 hits with a belt and a pinch. My uncle drew the right to do the honors. I very much would like him to be disappointed." Stanley paused for a moment to consider. Then he said, "Only if I get to choose the song." She smiled and said, "Agreed." "Okay, let me finish eating and I will come in." "That's fine." She turned and went back to her family. Stanley finished his dinner, paid for his meal, and walked in. He approached the DJ and requested "Night Fever" by the Bee Gees. Brittany walked over to him nervously. He bowed slightly and held out his hand, which she took. He took his other hand and placed it around her onto the small of her back. He pulled her close and said, "Just follow my lead. No one will laugh when we are done." Her face blushed a light pink as he pulled her close to him. He could tell she was slightly uncomfortable. When the music started, he started moving, holding her tightly and moving her with him. For a moment, she started smiling. It was then she knew he was only holding her that close to keep her from making a wrong step. As they were dancing, a woman that looked to be in her early to mid-20s walked in with a teenage boy behind her and saw them. The woman was pretty, a slim build with a nice body. She was 5'9", 145 pounds, blue eyes, and long curly blonde hair. The woman walked over and took a boy by the hand. Let's show them what we can do, cutie pie," she said. Without missing a step, she turned, pulling around him. "Do you know, guys, I knew all these characters, and I didn't even think about the voices I was going to use on each one. I am flying off that. I've had a weird day, y'all. Let's just keep it at that. No excuse, though. I should have prepared better." "Let's show them what we can do, cutie pie," she said. Without missing a step, she turned, pulling him around. He was walking backwards, and she said, "Ever play Simon Says?" The boy pulled his eyebrows together. "Ma'am?" "Okay, monkey see, monkey do. Watch the man, and when he does something, do the exact same thing. I will follow your lead. And when need be, make sure you don't mess up. They went across the floor. She thought, this kid has a nice body. They began to move around the dance floor. Brittany looked at Stanley and her smile grew into a grin, showing her teeth as no one was laughing. When the song was done, he released her, stepped back, and bowed to her slightly. Then he pulled her hand to his lips and kissed it. The honor, pleasure, and privilege were all mine. Happy birthday. Her family smiled and applauded. The woman held out her hand, and the young man kissed it. She looked at Stanley and said, "You cheater, you found a younger partner. At least she is the prettiest in the room. I am so glad you texted me directions. My GPS would have sent me God knows where." Gloria walked over and Stanley said, Gloria Parker, this is Brittany Farley. Brittany, this is Gloria Parker. Then they shook hands as Stanley said, "Today is her birthday and she wanted a birthday dance." Gloria smiled as she turned her attention to Stanley. "Speaking of birthday dances, I guess you missed mine." She walked over to the DJ, asked if he would play 2 songs, and then she walked out onto the dance floor. Stanley moved closer to Gloria when the music started. He took her hand and they started dancing. Suddenly, all eyes were on them. Others that had been dancing moved off the floor. Stanley and Gloria were in perfect sync with each other. They moved gracefully. To the music, as if the song was written just for them. The boy that Gloria had danced with stood next to Brittany. "She has got to be the most beautiful woman in the world," he said. Brittany nodded. "Bobby, they are amazing. I wish I was her." "What are you talking about? I wish I was him." "I wish I could do that," a boy beside them said. "Wow." Most of the teenagers were standing in shock at the way the couple moved. When the 2 songs were over, everyone in the room applauded them. They linked hands and bowed gracefully in unison. They walked to the bar and Stanley ordered her something to eat. As Gloria was enjoying her meal, the boy she had danced with walked over to her. "Excuse me, sir, ma'am." They both looked at him. "My name is Bobby Coleman. I was just curious, but is he your husband?" Gloria smiled thinly. No, he is not that lucky." "Thank God," Stanley said. "Is he your boyfriend?" Bobby asked curiously. "No, why do you ask?" "The first song y'all danced to, it was actually pretty good advice, step by step. So I figured if he wasn't your husband or boyfriend, I would ask you out and treat you like a lady." Stanley stifled the laughter and looked the other way. Bobby continued, "I can't tell you that you are the one I'm dreaming of because I just met you, but it does seem like a dream. I didn't think anyone could be as pretty as you." Gloria smiled and said to Stanley, "He is adorable. Can I keep him?" Do you know I have used that line before, ladies? Stanley laughed slightly. "No." "Oh, but I wanna." She turned to the boy. "What do you have in mind on this date of yours, kind sir?" "Well, me and my friends are going to my cousin's lake house tomorrow." Stanley looked at him and raised an eyebrow as the boy continued to speak. "He has a nice beach area and gazebo, a place to cook out. We were going to cook out and swim. I thought if you lived close enough or were going to be around, you could go with us." Gloria smiled slyly. "I did have plans to go to a lake tomorrow and cook out." She looked at Stanley. "I think I'm going to give you a rain check, Stanley, and go with this nice young man right here." She looked back at Bobby. "So where's your cousin's place?" "Oh, it's real close to here. You leave the parking lot and go to the right. It's the first road to the left. Then it's the fourth driveway to the left. Oh, so will your cousin be home? He's never there. It's a vacation home. He's a doctor and lives in New York somewhere. But he was down a few weeks ago. He told me I could use the beach anytime I wanted to. We just got to keep it clean. A doctor in New York? I see. Next question. Should I meet you there, or are you going to pick me up? I can pick you up, no problem, Bobby answered. If you're not too far away, that is. I'll be very close to here, so what time should we do this? We were planning to be at the lake around 11 or 12, so I can pick you up, say, about 10. All I need to know is where to pick you up at. Stanley tried not to chuckle, and Gloria responded. I'm going to be at my friend's house, she stated. He has a guest room. I normally spend his birthday and the day after with him, but you are cuter than him. I'm going to spend it with you instead. His place is really easy to find. You leave out of here and go to the right. The first road to the left, then his driveway is the fourth driveway to the left. Can't miss it. A big, nice mobile home. Stanley thought, crash and burn. Bobby smiled. Busted. Just my luck. Nice talking to you. Defeated, he started walking away. Stanley called after him. Hey, cuz. Gloria smiled. Bobby turned and said, Sir, cuz I retired from the medical profession. How many of your friends should I prepare to see tomorrow at my place? Bobby's eyebrows rose up. Well, everyone here and a few others. Okay, what do you all want? Hamburgers, hot dogs, or pork chops? Whatever you want, cuz we're all going to bring something, Bobby answered. Okay, we will have pork chops. I haven't had them in a while. He pulled out his wallet and said as he handed Gloria some money, You go get a couple of chops and other things. He looked at Bobby and said, I was going to have a brush fire, but since we're having a cookout, we can call it a bonfire. We can burn it after dark tomorrow. Roast marshmallows and hot dogs. So make sure your parents say it's okay. Oh, I forgot to use my manly voice, didn't I? Sorry. Hey, that is cool. His tone turned cool as he wanted to appear calm around the older adults. That's a good idea. We can bring the hot dogs and marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers for s'mores. Great idea. Gloria stood. Well, I'll go get some supplies. See you tomorrow, Bobby. She looked at Stanley. Yeah, I gotta go. I got it, Stanley said when she made eye contact. Once she was out of sight, Stanley pulled his wallet out and handed Bobby $40. Bobby had a confused look on his face. You asked her out. You said you were going to treat her like a lady. A gentleman always brings flowers on his first date. Be gentlemanlike. Besides, I am normally the only one that buys her flowers. That will make her feel very special. You can cut the grass next week to pay me back. That is an advance of half. You got it, cuz. He started walking away, then he stopped and looked back. Stanley was getting up from the table. Bobby said, Sir? Stanley looked up. Thank you. Stanley smiled and said, You're welcome, Bobby. Don't be late. I won't, sir. Stanley paid the bill, went home, and started moving the brush pile. When he got done, he was smiling. Later, Gloria walked up and said in an amused voice, I didn't know you had relatives here. Stanley laughed. Gloria, you know everyone in my family. That was the first time I ever laid eyes on cuz back there. But you gotta admit, he was smooth for his age. Yes, he was. Now I gotta find a way to let him down easy. Especially before he reaches that part where he takes you in his arms and never lets you go. Gloria smiled but didn't say anything. She walked over and started mixing the marinade for the meat. A lot of the teens there were born to dance. I noticed that as well. I didn't see any that could be mates. Gloria looked back at him. What would the odds be that they found that they would have a mate anywhere close? Shaking his head, he said, slim to none. I bet Julie would give her left eye to see that many born to dance in one place. Have you talked to Miss Chandler lately? Gloria mused. No, it's been a couple of years since I talked to Julie. I did talk to Barbara a short while back. How is she? Stanley laughed. It is her turn to be the black sheep of the family. She is mad at them, and they are mad at her. Gloria wiped her hands. Has William ever been on the black sheep list? Stanley nodded. Once, but he looked so much like Rex that it didn't last long. It's a pity she couldn't dance. I bet she would have been great at it. Is she born to dance? Stanley had a concentrated look on his face. I'm not sure, but I do know she nearly lost her position within the order of the dance by trying to bring dance mates together. No, she didn't. Stanley nodded. Yes, she did. From what I understand, the couple was close to bonding when the order stopped her. Several old school dancers found out. Good thing the order did stop her, or one of her children would have taken her place. Gloria walked over and sat down at the table. You don't think they would have killed her, do you? Stanley nodded. I don't think so. I know they would have. We are the babies of that curse. Leastwise, the ones that coaches and trainers brought together. I'll talk to you later. All right, now then. We're going to skip ahead to the fun one. My favorite part. All right, Nathan, where are they when this next scene takes place? Okay, to set it up just a little bit, I want to say France, but I can't remember for sure. Okay, so to give you guys a little background here, yeah, I know, but I'm doing it in the middle of chapter 15. What is it, France that they're at? So they got all the kids on board. They started teaching the kids. Fast forward in here, way ahead. And without giving too much away, Brittany has a huge crush on Stanley. And they're in France, and they are at a dance school there. And they kind of think they found Brittany's dance partner. What is that called? I forgot what it's called. Dance mate, soulmate, whatever. Anyways, they found her life bond partner. But they need to prove it somehow. So Stanley is taking Brittany out to eat. So this is kind of where it picks up at. And I'm kind of starting in the middle here, so and not to give too much more away, but let's just say that Gloria and Bobby are now an item too, and we'll leave that at that. The food showed up, and Gloria, Bobby, and Stanley talked the most. Brittany hardly said anything. After eating, Gloria and Bobby went to their room. Stanley walked over and picked his hand picked up his and Brittany's bags, and they went to the room. He set the bags down and started getting undressed. She pulled her clothes off, leaving just a shirt and panties on. Stanley lay down in the bed, and she got in beside him and started kissing him. "Make love to me, please. I need you so bad." Her body trembled. She kissed him again. "Touch me, hold me." He rolled over and kissed her. She pulled her shirt off, and he could see her ribs. She started to take her panties off, and he grabbed her hand and shook his head. She grabbed his hand and put it between her legs and held it there, continuing to kiss him. She grabbed him and found that he was hard. "I need you, Stanley." "I think what you really need is to talk about what's bothering you. Your body is trembling, but it's not from anything I've done." "I don't know what to say or what to do. All I know is that I never want to lose you. I'm holding on with everything I have, trying to give you everything I can, Stanley. Can't you see that? Do you even care, Stanley? I'm afraid of losing you so bad. I don't know what to say or do. That's what's on my mind. I want to give you everything you need. From what I feel in my hand, you say you need me too. I'm willing to give you that need, begging you to let me, because I need it just as badly as you. If you love me, Stanley, give me what I need and let me give you what you need." He had a hard look on his face. "I'm willing, Brittany, to give you everything you need, but are you willing to accept it? Because what you need is not what you think it is." She touched his face. "All I need is you, Stanley. If you think it's anything else, then you're wrong. Please make love to me, Stanley, please." He kissed her and moved his hand away from between her legs. He held her and lay in the bed. She silently cried as he held her tight all night. The next morning, he got up and was careful not to wake Brittany. He walked out of the room after he got dressed and called Pierre. When Bobby and Gloria woke up and stopped by their room, Stanley was speaking loudly and angry in French. For the first time since I got here, I'm glad I don't understand French," Bobby said. I wish I didn't understand it, but understand what he was saying. Trust me, it's not very pretty, Gloria said. Stanley slammed the phone down on the floor. It shattered into several pieces. "Stanley, calm down," Gloria said. Stanley's voice softened a little, but his tone didn't. He spoke to her in French, so Bobby wouldn't understand. When he was done, he walked out the door. "I've never seen him this mad before," Bobby said. "Pierre is lucky Stanley likes him as much as he does, as Stanley would kill him," Gloria said. "Get dressed. When he gets back, we're going to leave him and Brittany alone." Brittany raced out of her room an hour later, wearing only a shirt and panties. "Stanley!" she called. Bobby looked at her and turned away. "It's okay, Brittany. He stepped out for a minute. It's been a long time since we've been in Paris. I'm sure he went to check out a few things. I think he has a nice day in mind for just the two of you. Go get dressed." Brittany turned and walked back in the room. Gloria looked at Bobby. "Did you do that to Nicole? Turn your head like that?" "The first couple of times, yeah." She gave him a look. "Yeah, I should have thought about that first." She gave him a half smile. "Honesty is always best, Bobby, but yeah, you should have thought about it a little." Brittany came out of the room. "His phone goes to voicemail," she said with concern. Gloria pointed to the floor where pieces of the broken phone were scattered across the carpet. "He dropped it." She raised her eyebrows. "I'll say." "It was not an accident either," Bobby quipped. "That I can see. Is he mad at me? Did I do something wrong?" "Brittany, that man is completely, madly in love with you. I know after all that's happened, and you don't believe or see that. When I left here, did you think I was going to have sex with him? With someone, maybe, but not him. You wouldn't use him like that. Okay. But what would you think or feel if you saw him acting like he was in love with someone else other than you? Would you think it was a simple mistake? She stood up. Brittany, he came to me with Karen because he knew I was the only one that could help him not go back to her. By doing what we did, he never went back to her. Not because of the lack of her trying. I helped him get over something bad, saving my life many times in the process. Gloria walked over and stood behind Bobby. It was because of our love we have the two of you that we're not a couple now. The reason we never came back was because he needed some time to sort things out. Both of you hurt us badly. You made a statement that was so true, Brittany. We have kissed many times in front of you. It was in front of you and not behind your back. Not because we kept our feelings secret from you, nor have we used those feelings to keep us away from either of you. So what we have done is not in cheating fashion because you knew and we didn't hide it. The fact of what you did doesn't make it bad. It's how you did it. Trust me, he is madly in love with you because if he wasn't, then you wouldn't ever see or hear from him again. No one in this world knows him better than me. Okay. Let's skip ahead just a little bit here. Okay. They say Paris is the city of love, Stanley said. What do you say we stroll around and maybe do a little window shopping? Okay. She got up and he took her hand. They walked down a street and looked in several shops. Stanley glanced at his watch. Almost dinner time. I got reservations at this nice place, but they have a dress code. I thought maybe we could have dinner there. We are underdressed, so what do you say we get us some clothes and go have dinner? The dance floor is also nice. Maybe you'll dance with me. You're the only one I want to dance with. I would love to have dinner with you, Stanley. They walked into a little shop. Brittany looked around for a while. Having trouble deciding, he asked. Everything is just so expensive, she complained. Tell you what, Brittany, what do you say I pick out the dress I wish to see you in? Then we can see if they have it in your size. Please do, she said with a smile. He walked over and picked up a beautiful pink evening dress. She looked around. She looked and found the same one in her size. Stanley walked over and bought her a beautiful purse and wallet to go with it. He placed 2 cards in the wallet. She walked over and he picked up an extra tie and gave her the purse. You look fabulous. Pay for our clothes and we can go. Stanley, I don't have the money. He smiled. Look in the purse, darling. Brittany opened the bag and saw the cards and pulled one out. That is a credit card with a $200,000 limit. The other one is a debit card with $500,000 in it. Oh, sorry, he said that. Brittany opened the bag and she saw the cards and pulled one out. That is a credit card with a $200,000 limit. The other is a debit card with $500,000 in it, Stanley said. Stanley, I can't accept this, she said, shocked. I ripped my clothes and I left my wallet in the hotel. You going to make me walk naked? She smiled. Very tempting, though. Very tempting thought. He started pulling his shirt off. Okay, I'm not ashamed. Okay, I'm not ashamed of my body. She took her hands and kissed him. I love you, but these are going back to you tonight. She found some shoes, walked to the counter, and paid for them. After she changed clothes, they walked out of the store and called a taxi. Stanley told the driver where to go, and they drove to a nice building. This place is beautiful, Brittany said when they walked in. She took the side of the pearl-colored walls, the sparkling marble floor, and the elegant, expensive paintings hanging on the wall, along with several stone statues strategically placed to enhance the beauty of the room. If I'm going to wine, dine, and dance with someone like you, then only the best will do. I have a motive for such things, I should warn you. There is magic in whining, dining, and dancing, along with other things. Tonight, I'm the predator, and you are my prey. She took his hand. Then beware, the hunted just may become the hunted. They walked to the hostess, and he gave her his name. Her eyes opened wide. This way, monsieur. She led them to his table close to the dance floor. Stanley said something in French, and she nodded and walked away. Stanley pulled her seat out, and Brittany sat down. I didn't know you spoke French. My mother spent most of her life here in France, Stanley answered. My father did it also. I could speak French before I could speak English. He sat down across from her. A few minutes later, Gloria came walking up alone. Brittany was looking at the floor as if her mind was a million miles away. The waiter came over with a bucket of ice and a bottle of wine. He pulled the wine out and poured 3 glasses. Stanley pulled out a seat for Gloria, and she came down and she sat down. Thank you, she said. Where's Bobby? Brittany asked her. He ran into some friends and went somewhere with them. I told him to be here. I guess he lost track of time. I told him not to be late, or he wasn't going to eat. I took the liberty of ordering for you and him, Stanley said. Thanks. I'm starved. I kind of got that a little heavy, didn't I? I'm starved. If he doesn't show up, we can get it to go. The band walked out to the stage and started playing. I like that song. What is it? Brittany asked. Sounds like Get Closer by Seals and Croft with Carolyn Willis. They'll play the same song over and over all evening until the singers show up. Then they'll play it when the singers take a break. It's a different song every night. It'll be the first song the singers sing. On occasion, they have famous singers perform. They never announce who will be performing to draw in customers. It works. Many professional dancers come here also. I think they remodeled since the last time we were here. They have, but it's still very nice. Gloria took a small drink of her wine. That it is. During dinner, Gloria and Stanley did most of the talking. Brittany would give an occasional nod and answer a question. They finished eating, and Bobby still hadn't shown up. Brittany, I think you need a little more training. Okay, here comes the big scene. There's something you can click that makes you slide your picture sideways, LJ. I think that's what it is. Slide the picture sideways, and I think the comments show up. All right. Brittany, I think you need a little more training, Stanley said. Something different. Dancing requires trust and respect. Do you know what the greatest test of trust is? Brittany shook her head and gave him a curious look. Dancing blindfolded. It's a method that all the trainers use when the woman tries to lead the man. Take away her sight, and she has no way to lead because she can't see. Also, it's a method for one to know how their partner moves. It increases trust. So do you trust me? That is the best way to learn trust, Gloria. Boy, I need to start dancing blindfolded because I'm a leader and a half. You trust him to lead you, but a gentleman must always let the woman take his hand. I don't need more training. I'm going to quit dancing, Brittany said. You don't want to dance with me, or do you not trust me? He asked. I trust and love you with all that I am, Stanley. You're the only person I want to dance with. I just don't want to train. It can also be fun. What you have, what? You have something against the fun? He smiled. No, but people will look at us strange if we do that, Brittany said as she looked out on the dance floor. Not really, Gloria said casually. Maybe the people that don't come here regularly, but the regulars see it all the time. She doesn't want to dance, Stanley. Let me finish my wine and I'll dance with you. I didn't say I didn't want to dance, Brittany quickly replied. That was the impression you gave, Gloria said. Stanley walked over and knelt beside Brittany. You do this, and I'll give you what you want most tonight. You say you trust me, then prove it. She smiled and said in a low voice, Anything I want? He nodded. Yes, Brittany, but you have to trust me to give you what you want. Brittany smiled. Deal. But know this, I'm going to hold you to that. Stanley pulled off his tie and wrapped it around her eyes. I'm going to be on the floor. Gloria will lead you to me. Only one rule. No matter what, you can't take the blindfold off. I will remove it, okay? Also, it's not a good idea to talk. It will distract you. He walked out on the dance floor. Gloria stood up and walked out leading her. Brittany felt her hand touching Stanley's. She smiled. Okay, show me what you got, mister. She felt his lips touch her hand and an arm come around her. The music started. Whew, I'm getting chills, y'all. This is my favorite scene. Then she felt a gentle pull and she smiled, following him. As they danced, she felt so happy. Her fears seemed to fade with every step. Her life that had felt shattered was becoming more complete with every spin. For the first time in a long time, she felt alive. She followed him and they twirled and danced. The music stopped and she felt a kiss on her hand. Then the music started and they started dancing again. This time they danced a different dance. The song ended and she couldn't stop smiling. A kiss to the cheek and they started dancing again. Stanley, I love the way you make me feel when we dance. I always love the way you dance with me. He didn't answer. They started dancing again and she was almost laughing. Stanley, I love you so much. Again, no answer. He just started moving faster. She tried to get closer to him, but he wouldn't let her. Her heart felt like it was about to explode. When the song ended, she felt a kiss on her nose. You know I have lips, right? She said. The music started and they began dancing again. This time, they were going slowly. Stanley said in her ear, When the song ends, baby, I'm going to pull the blindfold off. A gentleman never takes a kiss on the dance floor without permission. Can your partner kiss you? I told you I had lips, remember? She said in a cheerful voice. He laughed slyly. So you did. She felt her body move, but this was a dance she had never done before. She couldn't help but laugh and say, Oh God, I never thought this was possible. The music ended and they stopped. She felt the tie start to come off. The music started, but this time singers were singing. She felt a peck on the lips. That is not a kiss, mister. The tie fell to the floor and she felt a hand touch her face. It took a moment for her to focus. She found herself looking at Ivan. He was misty-eyed, as if he was holding back tears. He said softly, You are so beautiful in love. He moved closer to kiss her. She wanted to turn her head. His lips touched hers, and she found herself putting her hands in his hair. It was breathtaking. She wanted to move, but he pulled her close, and she found herself wanting him to hold her even tighter. His body felt so good, and then her mind went blank. It was unlike anything she had ever felt in her life. When she opened her eyes, she was looking at him. He was the only one she wanted in her life. He kissed her again. She kissed him. And when it was over, she looked into his beautiful eyes and saw a desire to love her. A desire and wanting to take away all of her pain. A desire to be her friend. A look of someone who would die for her. Someone who would give her everything she needed and all of her wants if he could. Her heart pounded if it was going to come out, as if it was going to come out of her chest. She found herself looking at him the same way. She felt all his wants and desires. She felt a need to give herself, mind, body, and soul to him. She turned to kiss him again. She couldn't think of anything else. As she got close to him, a memory came to her. The first time Stanley ever danced with her. The look on his face when she thought she had lost him. The shattered look, the sound of his voice, the very first time he said, "I love you." She stopped, turned, and started to walk away. Ivan held onto her hand. She stood looking at Stanley. She didn't see Gloria beside him, tears running down her face. "Oh, God, Stanley," Gloria said. They bonded. I know they did. Look at her. Look at him. She can see you, Stanley. She can see you. Ivan turned her hand loose. Bada boom, bada bang. So, when he sue me. So, that. Sorry, my brother just sent me something. That was funny. Wow, okay. So, what'd you guys think? Yay, yay, nay. I got 5 of you on here. Somebody talk. I love that scene. But you got to read the whole book for it to make complete sense, y'all, okay? There was a lot happened. There was a little bit teenagers being teenagers. Adults being adults. Teenagers and adults being horny. Okay, there was a lot of stuff going on there. LJ, you need to go back and listen to the other stuff I read. Yeah. I love this book, and I can't wait. Can't wait till I have time to read the next ones. Nathan, give me some prices because I don't even know. You sent me these copies and I didn't even look. Or Nina, Miss PA, jump on his. You're his PA. How much these books cost? You're posting them all the time. I don't even know, y'all. But they're free on KU. I'm pretty sure, right? Yes. And why do people send me stuff like that? I don't even get it. But yeah, it's got a whole lot more. It happens after that. That's a really good start. $1.99, the boss man says. So, like I said, if you listen to it, free on KU, $1.99. So if you listen to this, comment, and I will be doing a drawing within the next 24, 36 hours, and for a free ebook per Mr. Nathan. So if everybody ready for Turkey Day tomorrow? What are we thankful for? I'm thankful for you guys. You have no idea how this group saved me from a dark abyss, okay? I just want to say that right now. You guys are my heart and soul, and I appreciate your love every day, because I was going down a dark road when this ideal came to me, and it's pulled me out. So I thank you guys. But yeah, remember tomorrow. Those that are in the U.S., be grateful that the British kicked us out, or that we made us mad enough to leave, and that we are able to do stuff like this. That there's some countries that can't write these good books. They're not free to have Facebook, so they can share these good books. So keep that in mind tomorrow, y'all. There's a lot that we can be thankful for. Our families, our health. As good or bad as it is, we're here. So I just hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. And I love you all, and happy reading before I lose it. So bye, y'all. Good night.